MacLeod and McLeod, MacLeod, are surnames in the English language. Variant forms of the names are MacLeod and M Leod. Generally, the names are considered to be Anglicised forms of the Scottish Gaelic MacLeod, meaning son of Leod. However, in some cases the names can also be Anglicised forms of the Irish Mac Leóid. Another origin for the name, according to late 19th century Irish genealogist John O'Hart, is from the Irish Macleod. One of the earliest occurrences of the surname is of Gil Andres MacLeod, in 1227. There are two recognised Scottish clans with the surname, Clan MacLeod of Harris and Skye, and Clan MacLeod of Lewis and Rossi. The earliest record of these two families, using a form of the surname MacLeod, occurs in the mid-14th century. There are also documented cases of Scottish missionaries in Canada using MacLeod as an anglicisation of the indigenous Cree language name Markiak, which accounts for its occurrence amongst Canadian people of Cree heritage. People with the surname MacLeod, A. MacLeod, P. Canadian politician from Ontario. Anna McGillivray MacLeod, Scottish professor of brewing and biochemistry. Aileen MacLeod, Scottish National Party MSP. Alan Arnott MacLeod, P. Canadian recipient of the Victoria Cross. Alexander MacLeod, Scottish-Canadian sheriff acquitted of murder charges in connection to the Caroline Affair. Alexander Samuel MacLeod, P. Canadian artist. Alistair MacLeod, P. Canadian author. Ali MacLeod, Scottish football player and manager. Andrew MacLeod, Australian rules footballer. Andrew MacLeod, humanitarian expert and CEO. Brian MacLeod, P. Canadian politician from Manitoba. Charlotte MacLeod, P. Canadian mystery fiction writer. Clarence J. MacLeod. Cody MacLeod, P. Canadian professional ice hockey player. Colin MacLeod, P. Canadian-American geneticist. Cynthia H. MacLeod, Surinamese novelist. Dave MacLeod, Scottish rock climber. David MacLeod, American football player. Debbie MacLeod, Scottish field hockey goalkeeper. Donald Bannerman MacLeod, New Zealand physicist. Donald Frell MacLeod, British Lieutenant Governor of Punjab. Donald Kenneth MacLeod, British Army officer with the British Indian Army. Duncan Stewart MacLeod, P. Canadian politician from Manitoba. Duncan Lloyd MacLeod, P. Canadian politician from Manitoba. Aaron MacLeod, P. Canadian soccer player. Fred MacLeod, Scottish-American golfer. G. Scott MacLeod, P. Canadian multimedia artist and film director. Gavin MacLeod, American actor. George MacLeod, Scottish churchman, founder of the Iona community. Haggis MacLeod, British juggler and comedian. Henry Dunning MacLeod, Scottish economist. Herbert MacLeod, British chemist. Ian MacLeod, several people. Ian Bob MacLeod, Scottish clan chief. Ian Ciar MacLeod, Scottish clan chief. Ian Norman MacLeod, British politician. Ian R. MacLeod, British science fiction and fantasy author. Isale MacLeod, British footballer. James MacLeod, Scottish-Canadian pioneer and RCMP commissioner. Jenny MacLeod, New Zealand composer. John James Rigg MacLeod, Scottish biochemist and co-discoverer of insulin. John George MacLeod, Scottish physician and writer of medical books. Joseph MacLeod, British poet, playwright, actor, theatre director and BBC newsreader. Katarina MacLeod, P. Canadian abolitionist. Keith MacLeod, American basketball player. Ken MacLeod, Scottish science fiction writer. Ken MacLeod, American Buddhist teacher, writer, translator. Kevin MacLeod, Kevin S. MacLeod CVOCD. Lynn MacLeod, P. Canadian politician from Ontario. Malcolm MacLeod, several people. Malcolm MacLeod, Scottish clan chief. Malcolm MacLeod, British scientist. Malcolm MacLeod, politician from New Brunswick, Canada. Malcolm MacLeod, former rector of the University of Edinburgh. Mary MacLeod Trump, Scottish-American philanthropist, mother of Donald Trump. Mary MacLeod Bethune, American educator. Moira MacLeod, British field hockey player. Michael Anthony MacLeod, American football coach. Meg MacLeod, English long-distance runner. Nathaniel William Hamish MacLeod, British Financial Secretary of Hong Kong 1991 to 1995. Neil MacLeod, Canadian politician from Prince Edward Island. Neil MacLeod, New Zealand field hockey player. Nicholas MacLeod, Scottish businessman and missionary. Norman MacLeod, several people. Norm MacLeod, an Australian rules footballer. Norman MacLeod, a Scottish churchman and writer. Norman MacLeod, a president of the Liberal Party of Canada. Norman MacLeod, a Scottish churchman and writer. Norman MacLeod, a Scottish television presenter. Norman MacLeod of MacLeod, the 25th chief of Clan MacLeod. Norman Z. MacLeod, film director. Omar MacLeod, Jamaican hurdler. Sir Reginald MacLeod of MacLeod, the 27th chief of Clan MacLeod. Robert Brodie MacLeod, Canadian psychologist. Roderick MacLeod, several people. Roderick MacLeod, Canadian politician. Sir Roderick MacLeod of MacLeod, the 15th chief of Clan MacLeod. Rory MacLeod, British folk singer-songwriter. Rory MacLeod, English professional snooker player. Roshone MacLeod, a former American basketball player. Samantha MacLeod, Canadian actress. Sarah MacLeod, New Zealand actress. Sarah MacLeod, Australian singer, a former frontwoman of the Super Jesus. Scott MacLeod, several people. Scott MacLeod, U.S. Department of State official. Scott MacLeod, Canadian ice hockey player. Scott MacLeod, Scottish rugby union footballer. G. Scott MacLeod, Canadian multimedia artist and film director. Shane MacLeod, Australian news correspondent. Stuart MacLeod, Scottish magician. William MacLeod, several people. William Claridge MacLeod, Scottish clan chief. William Dove MacLeod, Scottish clan chief. People with the given name MacLeod, MacLeod, MacLeod. Norman MacLeod Ferrers, a British mathematician and university administrator. Norman MacLeod Lang, a bishop of Leicester. Fictional characters with the surnames MacLeod and McLeod. Athol MacLeod, character from the historical fiction series The Fairies Saga. The Fairies Saga, Book 1. Colin MacLeod, character from Highlander. Vengeance the animated movie. Connor MacLeod, character from Highlander movies and television series. Duncan MacLeod, character from Highlander movies and television series. Quentin MacLeod, character from Highlander the animated series. Sarah MacLeod, character from Highlander the animated series. Owen MacLeod, character from Highlander the game. Justin MacLeod, character from the film The Man Without a Face. Claire MacLeod, character from Australian television show MacLeod's Daughters. Tess Silverman MacLeod Ryan, character from Australian television show MacLeod's Daughters. Jodie Fountain MacLeod, character from Australian television show MacLeod's Daughters. Fergus MacLeod, the real name of Crowley, character from the television show Supernatural. Similar names: MacLeod.